Hi folks, I'm Craig Nolan, Arlington Weekly News anchor, and just as a little prologue here, I'd like to introduce my new best friend here, who's going to be doing some interviewing for us off and on, we hope on a regular basis. This is Miriam Gennari.
Gennari, yes.
Gennari.
Nice to see you, Craig.
My bad, I blew it already.
Feel like I'm with a local celebrity. It's nice to be here.
Welcome, thanks for
you.
joining us, and tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, first of all, how did you find out about the Arlington Weekly News?
Well, you know, I've been taking classes here at Arlington Independent
Good for
Media.
you.
Absolutely.
Are you a member?
I am.
Excellent.
I am, and I'm in my field class right now. Really excited to go on location.
Beautiful.
So hopefully I'll be able to do that with the weekly news. Anyway, I think it's wonderful that you're keeping everybody informed about local and important issues, and so I want to help.
Well, sustainability is one of your buzzwords. It's a big buzzword around for everybody right now, and can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I'll say I said it first.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding. The truth is that one of my biggest concerns is the sustainability in Arlington. The fact that we are so fortunate to have jobs and growth and an excellent education system, we shouldn't miss the opportunity to do things like value our resources, be good stewards of the environment, and certainly to educate citizens about how they can help make Arlington a better place and a better example.
All right, and sustainability can pertain to a lot of different things. Walkability is a key factor. That's one thing I just learned about Arlington as being one of the top 10 walkability places in America. So again, you have an interview tonight. You're talking with Jennifer
Wheatley, yes.
About her book?
Absolutely.
All
One
right.
Voice Raised.
Well, we wish you good luck with that, and again, we offer you welcome. And
thank you, Craig. I look forward to doing
stick around.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. We'll see you later. Take care. Bye.
Hi, I'm Miriam Gennari, and I'm here today with Jennifer Wheatley. She's written a book on an experience that she had, and she's going to share it with us. Her book is called One Voice Raised. Thank you so much for being with me, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Jennifer, this is not an easy topic, but I want to get started right away. Tell me, what inspired you to write this book about your own personal experience with rape?
21 years ago, a man broke into my house and tried to strangle me and suffocate me, and he raped me. I never saw his face, and he left in the middle of the night, and I never saw him again. Detective who was assigned my case dropped the ball and did some pretty unprofessional work, I would say. But it was picked up by Dave Cordell, who's chief investigator for Anne Arundel County State's Attorney's Office. And he held on to the case for 20 years, and whenever he had an opportunity or thought he had a similar case, he would test the DNA from this. And I eventually got, my case eventually was brought to the courts, and the guy was caught and he was tried. Standing outside of the courtroom waiting for the jury to come in, talking to Detective Cordell, he said, you know, I've always wanted to write a book about my 3 most outstanding cases. He has still one that's 30 years old he hasn't solved yet. And he said, what if we write a book together? And I said, that sounds like a great idea. And at the time I was writing a book thinking I was writing about the connections between the people and the events as they had unfolded. But it turns out that I was about halfway through the book, and I realized 3 or 4 of my girlfriends came forward to me and said, you know, I was raped, I was date raped, my husband, my father, whatever. You know, it was just, I was bombarded by all these women admitting that they had been victims of this crime.
Jennifer, this is a book of courage. It's also a book about the process that you went through after the rape,
right,
and the depression that you suffered because of it,
right,
and how difficult it was to talk about. Talk to me about how you came through that to be where you are today, and how you feel like this is an important book to reach young women about this issue.
I think all rape victims go through a process of dealing with the violation. I didn't handle it very well. I started to drink very heavily, and I isolated myself. I guess it's been 23 years now. People really didn't talk about sexual assault, rape, and it was difficult to get into a conversation where I was allowed to express my feelings or my fears or my apprehensions. And I became afraid of everything. It was as if I was suffering from post-traumatic stress.
But what about the statistics? I mean, you thought you were alone, but what are the realities of rape in this country?
The statistics, as they read, are 1 in 4 women. But having written this book and had 4 of my friends come forward, I think that statistic is very low. And of those women who are raped, and not just women, men, children, everybody, I'm going to say women just for the sake of conversation, only 30% of these people report the crime. So 70% of rape victims do not report the crime because they don't want to deal with the pain, the isolation, the guilt, and the trauma of getting into a courtroom and facing their attacker, which is quite intimidating.
So now we have DNA evidence, we have some laws on the books that are protecting victims. So what is your message to young people, and actually to women and men of all age who've dealt with this? What is your message about how important it is to come forward? And I say this knowing you solved your case.
Right, I did, and I was lucky. I think every rape victim has a responsibility. The first responsibility lies with them to actually report the crime. If it's not reported, no advances in technology are going to do anybody any good. And a rapist does not stop raping, and that's the message. Just because you go on with your life, you know, if you don't report the crime, you go on with your life and you heal or whatever, doesn't mean he stops. He's going to target the next woman.
So Jessica, Jennifer, I think you must feel a sense of pride for taking this man off the streets. And so, is your book dedicated to anyone?
To my husband.
To your husband. To your husband.
Yeah, because he was actually the last to know.
Well, it's very good to have somebody here who's willing to talk and speak about not only the tragedy but the triumph over what happened to you. Thanks so much, Jennifer, for coming to talk to us, and I encourage you all to look for One Voice Raised. She lives here in Arlington, and I'm looking forward to having a signed book and a copy for myself. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.